Good morning, guys. As you can see, we are in the car. It is 7:40 in the morning. I am rushing out to the pediatrician's office. They don't even open until 8. I'm trying to get there like right as they open so that Kaylee can be seen. I didn't vlog all weekend because we had our color guard practices, like our choreography camps, and I can't vlog there. I can't show you guys the footage of any of that because we don't want our competitors to see our show. We don't want them to see like our floor mats, our costumes, our flags, our choreography, any of that until our first competition, which at that point then, I mean, it's illegal to record our show unless you're the choreographer, but people will do it anyways and it'll get out there. And so, as you can see, I look like a hot mess. I got up, I worked, my usual like 4 a.m. to whatever. Kaylee was up all night. She couldn't breathe. Oh, let me backtrack. I didn't record all weekend because of the camp, but then Saturday into Sunday morning, Maddie woke up at like 1:30 in the morning screaming. Like, it was heartbreaking, like awful, painful screaming, and we didn't know what was going on. We kind of tried to comfort her for like 30 minutes. I let her lay in bed with me. I did like everything I could to try to make her feel better, and she was just screaming. And then she started projectile vomiting everywhere, and she continued to do this painful screaming, and we couldn't calm her down. So I took her to our emergency room, the one that's close to our house. You guys have seen me talk about the hospital before. I don't mind the emergency room there, but there's no way I would ever go to the labor and delivery portion of that hospital. And so we took her into the emergency room, and they put her on a bunch of medications to stop her from vomiting, and then they gave her a bunch of painkillers to help with that. And we were there for a couple hours. My mom went with me, and Danny stayed home with Kaylee. I know, baby. And so anyway, I didn't really take a lot of footage of that. I mean, she was really, really, really bad, and I didn't have like a vlog going that day or anything like that. We were just really focused on making sure that she was okay, because at that point, I mean, the amount of pain that she was in, I was really worried that she was like having appendicitis or like some kind of like organ issues, or she had eaten something. My mother-in-law had mentioned that she had lost her earring, and she didn't think she lost it at our house, but it's always a possibility that one of the kids could swallow something like that. Coins, magnets are huge right now, like in the news. I just saw like 3 or 4 different news articles of kids that had swallowed magnets and have died. And it's like, I don't know where they would get them from at my house, but all the toys have, different pieces that can like come off or break off. And so I was like really worried that something was going wrong there. So we took her in and did all of that, and she was fine. They gave her a popsicle. She was like laughing, and we sent videos to Danny of her saying like, "Hi, Daddy," and all kinds of stuff. Say hi, Daddy.
Hi, Daddy.
Do you still feel yucky?
Yucky.
What do you have?
What are you eating?
Is that a lollipop?
It's a popsicle.
Popsicle? Is it orange?
Orange popsicle.
Can you smile?
Can you smile for Daddy?
Smile. Say cheese. Can you laugh? Good job. She was super happy when we left, giggly, upbeat, normal kid. Say hi, Daddy. Are we gonna go home?
Yeah.
Yeah? You can go home?
Yeah.
Don't fall? Yes? You can go home? You go see Daddy and KK? Yeah. Did you have fun here? It's not fun here. Are you ready to go home?
Yeah,
Yeah, go home. Can you say thank you, Grandma, for coming?
I'm glad you feel better, Pumpkin.
And then we got home, and like 30 minutes later, it started all over again. The screaming and the crying and everything. And we were able to kind of comfort her enough that it wasn't as bad. The screaming was still bad, but it was like 1,000 times worse. And sorry, my camera is like falling over. I didn't even worry about trying to mount this right now the right way, but the screaming was awful before we took her, and it was awful after she got home, but not as bad. So anyway, eventually she calmed down and she actually ended up sleeping all day. She slept from like 7 or something in the morning until 5 p.m. and then she got up and she seemed fine. Every once in a while she seemed like she was in pain. It's really hard to give her the medication to stop her from vomiting, but you know, we tried to do it anyways. And I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Anyway, she ended up eating. She wanted to eat, so she ate some yogurt and she had orange juice, which she was super, super thrilled to have orange juice. And she ended up going back to bed at like 7:30, 8, something like that. And she's still asleep, 7:45 right now. She's still asleep. We've been checking on her. She's breathing fine. She's, you know, everything. She's just very tired and she probably needs that sleep, and the medication she's on probably makes her drowsy. And anyway, so Danny's at home with her because we didn't want to wake her up, because that's the same situation Kaylee was in. Kaylee was sleeping in the middle of the night when we had to take Maddie in, so he stayed with Kaylee. And now it's vice versa. So I'm taking Kaylee in and he's gonna stay with Maddie. He's actually not feeling well now. I got this, so I was sick all weekend. Vomiting, diarrhea, fever, like all of that stuff. I still have a stuffy nose. But anyway, guys, this is getting really super long. So Kaylee now has very labored breathing. Her lungs, I can, like, if I put my ear on her chest, is like full of just mucus and liquid. It sounds like when you like put a camera underwater, and that like gurgling sound it makes when you put a camera underwater. Like, that's what her lungs sound like. She's coughing really bad, and she's been sick for like 3 weeks now. We took her in last week. She just finished 10 days of amoxicillin, and yeah, so she's still not better. And this morning she's really bad. She had 102-degree fever. She's struggling to breathe. The reason I'm taking her to the pediatrician over the hospital right now is because I want to make sure that it is something that we need to go to the emergency room for. I prefer going to the pediatrician. She's not like in pain, she's not dying, she's not suffocating. She is breathing and everything. Like, she's fine. She was smiling at me. The reason we took Maddie to the emergency room over the pediatrician is because it was like 2 in the morning and the pediatrician wasn't open. And so, like, if I was gonna take her somewhere, the emergency room was the only thing that was open. None of our urgent cares were open in this area. The emergency room was our only option at that point. I have options right now with Kaylee, and I prefer to take her to our pediatrician versus the emergency room, unless she's like got something broken or she's bleeding profusely or something like that. Like, right now I know she's not dying, she's breathing, she's okay. It's just, it might be something that maybe she'll need to go to the emergency room for, but she will be fine going to the pediatrician. So I don't want people to be like, oh, you took your one daughter to the emergency room and you're not taking your other one. Like, 2 in the morning and 8 in the morning are 2 totally different time periods with 2 totally different options for your kids when they actually have 2 totally different issues going on. So anyway, I don't need anybody telling me that I'm a horrible mom because I'm not taking this one to the emergency room right now. We may end up there. It's a possibility that we may end up there. So anyway, this is what's going on, and I don't know how long this vlog is going to be because now I've been talking to you guys for like 7.5 minutes. So anyway, yeah. Alright guys, we're here. They told us, I called them, and they told us that they might not be able to see us until 9:30, which, if that's the case, we're just gonna go to the emergency room because that's an hour and a half from now. And she's sleeping right now, but she keeps waking up and coughing, and like, she's struggling. So I'm not gonna sit here and wait an hour and a half to be seen when she may need more than that. So we're gonna see. I'm gonna take her in. It's cold. It's 32 degrees out. I'm not excited about the weather, but I need to do what's best for my baby, so let's go. Alright guys, we get to avoid the hospital for now, which is good. She, at the present time, doesn't have pneumonia, but we're gonna have to keep an eye on her. She does have RSV. Like I said, she's been sick for, this is almost a 4th week now. It's gotten really bad. So they sent a bunch of medicine out to our pharmacy. We're gonna go pick all of that up. But she is so miserable. I'm sorry, Kaylee Ann. You're so miserable. It's so sad. Here we go again. I feel like it's never ending though. Okay, so you guys know that I drive an hour to see like my doctors and everything because I don't like, it's not that I don't like the doctors in my area, I don't like the OB and like having the baby, all of the process of having a baby from pre-conception to the baby coming out. I don't like any of it in the area that I live in, so I drive an hour, and so I have my babies in that town, and then in the hospital, all of the doctors there are obviously from that area, so I take my kids to that area. So I just drove an hour with Kaylee for her to be seen, an hour back, picked up all of her medicine, and now I have my OB appointment, so now I'm driving an hour back to where I just was and an hour back home again. But I have 2 appointments. I have my OB appointment for it's basically 14 weeks, like you go every 4 weeks. It's just a regular appointment. And then I have my high-risk consultation right after that. So that is what we are doing now. I am home. Look at me, I look like a train wreck. It's raining outside, so like makeup's running off my face. I'm tired. Haven't slept in 3 days now. Working on making tacos. Danny actually had to go into work to like approve schedules or something. There was nobody there to do his for him, so he ended up having to go in. So he is running in real quick to do that, and then he'll be home and we're gonna have tacos. Kaylee just went down for another nap. She's doing better after her first round of the Z-Pack that they gave her. Maddie is doing a lot better, like just I guess in general. She still looks kind of miserable and she's really snotty and everything, but she's much better as far as like energy. Like she slept a lot, but as far as like her energy level and her attitude and stuff like that, like she was playing, I can chase her around, she's giggling, laughing, watching TV, she's eating again. So that is all really good. And yeah, that is pretty much it. I had my appointments. Sorry for like trying to move this around, my arms hurt. I had my appointments, so my doctor's appointment, actually, if you guys watched my last video when I went to the doctor's, it was absolutely miserable. Like the nurse was horrible and everything like went wrong. I had to get a pap smear done, and then they test you. I don't know if they do it like in other states, but here they test you for like gonorrhea, chlamydia, like different STDs and stuff like that. And which we don't have any, but they test them so that when the baby's born, they know that the baby can't contract them or like didn't contract those diseases on the way out. And so they want you to do it that way. They don't have to like test the baby for it and everything. And so I got my pap smear done and I got all of those tests run, and the lab ended up doing them in like the wrong order and stuff, and so they were invalid. So I had to have that redone again. So that was fun. So yeah, I had my pap redone, and then I had to go upstairs in the building to see my high-risk doctor for my blood pressure and everything like that. I thankfully was induced and I never went into preeclampsia. That's basically what they fear for me. I am at a much greater risk of preeclampsia than a lot of other people. And they feel that I'm at a higher risk this 3rd time around. I didn't have it, like I said, the last couple times, but I guess they kind of feel like the chances like increase as I'm having more kids, and I had them like back to back, and my body's not really like having a lot of time to return to its normal state and everything like that. My blood pressure is fine right now. It's actually very good. So luckily that is a good thing, but it gets really bad towards the end. So anyway, that is basically all that happened. I had some prescriptions I had to go pick up at Target, so we got the ones for Kaylee, and then they gave me some for like my migraines and stuff like that, and so I had to go drop those off. I did my grocery shopping there, came home, and then Danny left for work, and that's essentially, like, this is all we've done today. I spent 4 hours in the car today driving back and forth from the doctor's office. Isn't that crazy? That's nuts. So, oh, you can hear my food whistling. Let's go check on it. Kaylee. KK, look. Come here, KK. I want to see your face. You look so sad. How dare your feet be there? Okay,
KK, you want some?
What do you want? You want chocolate milk? Yes?
Maddie, do you want
Say
some?
please.
Go get milk.
Okay.
Maddie, do you want